This man, Danny, you are so lucky that it didn't go broadcasting before that. How are we going to look? First off, we're already splitting this podcast into two parts. This man's just like,
for all you know, and Endgame's gonna open with someone burping. You don't know. I'm just keeping things exciting. Plot twist. You didn't see that coming.
So, would you say you are subverting expectations?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the best way to start the final, and we do mean final, NXP podcast for 2018. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh my God,
it is
we were live.
Wait, what?
I didn't know. Oh,
bro.
Oh, that's
that is beautiful.
That is beautiful. You cannot recreate that. Look at this. So much great stuff happening on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are making up for lost time here on the final, and I do mean final NXP podcast for 2018. For those of you guys who are tuning in for the very first time and wondering why this podcast is like to be continued, essentially what had happened was, your boys, we had a nice discussion, man. We were on this shit for 3 hours straight, and then we realized we only touched 2 topics.
Yeah.
Which I think is... You blame the list. You see, whenever you have a year-end special, I think that we should always separate the list into something else because we'll be here all day. So here we are with part 2, where we're going to talk about the rest of the stuff that we missed in this year's podcast. So joining me, y'all already know these niggas. You know who they are, but I'm going to introduce them anyway. So flanking on my left, we got Danny Burp's World. What's going on, man?
Just kill me now, please.
All right, I'm lining up my sights. Flanking on my right, we got Rots 112. What's going on, Robert?
Not much, man. How you be?
I'll be good, man. I'll be good. And we have got this. I don't know about you guys, but I don't recognize this dude over here.
Man, whatever. I cut my hair. Let it go.
Yo, y'all can't see this right now, but this man's Jamil had himself a 180 transformation. He had that breakup haircut without having a breakup. How do you explain yourself for that, bro?
I've been wanting short hair for a minute, so I was like, screw it. I'm gonna get short hair.
And there we go, bro. So shout out to all the people in the chat right now. We got a good couple folks in here. The amazing JD, what up, playa? Victor says, never clicked on a notification so fast. And why is my dog barking in the background? The world may never know, but we might have an answer to that because there's a big swole nigga that just entered the chat. I've been kicking it with you since you reviewed Naruto Storm 2. Appreciate the love, homie. Oh, man. So, guys, let's just dive straight into today's episode, talking about gaming. We have got Danny's favorite troll in the room, T-Bell. What up, Toma? And, yeah, we're going to talk about this first topic because it was supposed to be one of our premiere topics last week, but we just didn't get a chance to. Guys, let's talk about Persona because there's been some news regarding Persona 5 today. Danny, you want to take it away?
Well, basically, they just kind of dropped a trailer that they're going to be announcing. It was an announcement of an announcement, go figure. P5R, whatever that's going to be, in March, and a concert. That was about it.
A concert,
but there's a lot of controversy. Yeah, a live concert of like the music.
That's gonna be lit.
Oh yeah, those are always great. They really are. But there's been some controversy though because everybody kept assuming that the announcement that was going to be coming for Persona 5R was that it was going to be that it was the Switch version of the game with enhanced features. And there was some debate about whether or not that would also come to PS4 too, and a lot of people fighting in comment sections about it. And then the announcement drops and the PS4 logo flashes in front of it and nothing else. And now we have more people fighting about it because... well, basically the same reasons, just in reverse. Now you got people insisting it's only coming to PS4. You got people mad it's not coming to Switch. Just a lot of assumption being made in general.
Oh, we on Persona? Bet.
Yeah, we're waiting for you to come back with this one, bro.
I was your glorified filler. You're welcome.
what I
All
missed.
right.
Oh,
Oh,
we
you
basically
didn't miss
just-
much.
We basically just covered that P5R got announced, and there was a PS4 logo, and everybody's freaking out and being fanboys over it, as expected.
Right. So a little bit of a background on this particular situation. There's been a lot of hype for Persona here recently, particularly Persona 5, because there was the announcement for Joker being in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Combine that with all the trademark listings that were being thrown around. Basically, Atlas was gearing up towards something, because as history has shown us, every time Atlas does something with the Persona trademark, we usually hear something. Like, we learned about the Persona 4 dancing spinoff like a couple of weeks after they created the trademark. Same thing for all the other things. So by them registering all these domains, it usually means they're gearing up towards something. But some people are, like Danny said, kind of miffed because they expected this announcement to be the Nintendo Switch port. But I think there's a lot more to it, and I'm going to bring on a rumor specialist who has a lot of expertise in this, my homeboy Jamil, to talk more about what all of these domains mean for Persona 5 and the future of Persona. So take it away, Jamil.
All right. So from what I was told, Sega in general has been, I guess you can say, we've been looking to, I guess you can say, put more games on more platforms. Hence why we have Yakuza on PC, for example. Now, in the case of Yakuza, if what I've been told is correct, Yakuza 0 on PC sold just about as much, if not more, than the PS4 version. So you're more than likely going to see the same. You're more likely going to see the whole Yakuza series on PC further down the line. And if I recall correctly, it was Sega of Europe that's like been pushing heavily for it. Because even though Sega owned Atlas kind of operates pretty independently. Like that's kind of how like most companies are. Like how Disney owns Marvel Comics, but Marvel Comics could kind of more or less do whatever they want within reason, I guess.
Correct.
But that's just with Yakuza. With Persona, from what I was told, that Switch port probably is happening. Now, when it's happening, that I can't tell you. I was told that the announcement might happen sometime around April during the Persona Live concert. I mean, Alice themselves even said there would be some announcements there. So what they're probably going to do is announce it when Joker comes to Smash, which is probably in April or sometime around there. So basically be on the lookout for that. But like, as I said, Sega as a whole has been looking into putting more of their games on multiple platforms. So there's that. That's pretty more or less what. That's pretty much all I can gather from it. I don't know what every single domain is for all these different Atlas games. As far as P5R is, that probably could be the enhanced port or whatever, or like the how they did the golden for Persona 5, but it's like I said, as far as P5R, I don't know what that could be. But that's pretty much all I know about it, I want to say. Yeah, I think that's it.
Cool. Well, thank you for all of the insight on that. We learned a lot of interesting tidbits, and I'll touch more on the Yakuza thing later, but the whole situation regarding Persona 5R, and I just think that its announcement as it stands is really skeptical, because if this was just a simple Persona 5 re-release, like a Persona 5 Redux, like a Game of the Year edition physically, I think they would have come out to say it. But the fact that they did an announcement for an announcement teaser, and there's just all this cryptic hype surrounding it, I think that this is more in line with the Persona 4 Golden effect. I think they're going to go down that route, and we're going to get new content for it. Now, the fact that it was confirmed for the PlayStation 4, I'm going to get into my rumor and speculation theory hype about this, doesn't mean that it's exclusive for the system. I think the reason why they confirmed it for the PS4 is obviously, that's where their fan base is. Atlas knows it. That's how it's been for decades now. But what I think is really interesting is the fact that they didn't confirm any other versions, and they said just wait till March. Part of me has a suspicion that they are waiting to announce the Switch version when they debut the release date for Joker in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Because if you would imagine that, like, let's just say, for example, Persona 5 is coming to Switch. The fact that Nintendo is working with Atlas says something, and I wouldn't be too surprised if Nintendo was in fact funding the port for Persona 5 on the Switch, because that's not the first time they've done something like this for a Japanese company. For the Dragon Quest games, Nintendo were the ones who brought those over to the States, the ones on the 3DS. Square Enix didn't want to localize them because of the history of the games and how they sold in the franchise. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they did something like that and they just wanted to keep it under wraps and announce it when they drop the DLC. I think that would be very cool. But in terms of like other things that they have in mind for the franchise, I feel like it's up in the air. Like the obvious things that we can throw out would be another fighting game. People have gotten. Well, go ahead.
That's you just reminded me. Another rumor: we might be getting remakes of Persona 1 through 4.
Oh,
First one.
Look at that! I mean,
I'd be down for that. I would be down for that.
And my source is the same person who told me, like, I think it was about like 3 days ahead of time about the announcement of Judgment now for summer of for PS4. Like, he's been pretty close to Sega for years. So yeah.
That wouldn't be too surprising. I mean, given the history of the franchise, and let's be real about life for a second. We love the franchise, but Persona 5 was the first time that people who didn't know anything about the franchise gave a damn about it. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even played. I know people that was hyped about it.
Definitely.
So I honestly, like, okay, again, rumor specialist over here. I think that maybe the R could stand for a remake, in the sense that it's a Persona 5 remake where all these games are coming, but in the Persona 5 engine. Like, that would be insane. I don't think they have the time to do that, but how crazy would it be to see Persona 2, 3, 4 all redone in the 5 engine?
This Persona 1. I'm sick of y'all. Ooh.
I ain't dissing it, but I mean, come on. Let's be real about life. Come on, player.
I don't know if I can do another playthrough of 4. When I finish that, oh my god.
Oh, it left me broken, bro.
Yeah, I know. I could not like do. I didn't want to do anything for like 3 days.
I'm gonna be real about life for a second. I finished Persona 5. I moved on to the next game. I beat Persona 4. Your boy was slumped for a week. Those games will do it to you. But in terms of like other stuff, I think that could be a possibility. You said remake and not a remaster. I know people confuse the two, but would you think that it's actually from the ground up they're remaking?
Oh yeah, I mean, but that's not even just like, I mean, when it's coming, I have no idea. That's probably like remaking 4 full Persona games in HD and new engines. That's probably like a decade-long project. But no, I mean, but even Alice
remake though.
Yeah, like Alice themselves put out a survey. It was like, which games would you like to see remade? And it had Personas 1, 2, 3, and 4 on it. So it's like I said, that's probably something. Like I said, that's something like.
Yeah, they had that.
Final Fantasy 16 comes out, it'll be announced.
Yeah, they had that survey attached to Yakuza Kiwami too, asking what Yakuza games we'd like to see brought over, and they actually asked if we wanted any of the spin-offs brought over here.
Hey,
like I said yes to that like right away.
We should get some Ishin. There's a lot of Yakuza games that appeared on like handheld systems that haven't come over.
What's the name of the samurai one?
The samurai one is Yakuza Restoration, also known as Yakuza Ishin.
Yeah, that never came out over here, right?
No, it was a launch title for the PS4 in Japan, but we were in that slump period with Yakuza where, you know, they came out with Dead Souls and that bombed over here. No one cared about it, so people. Yeah, we were. Yeah,
Yakuza is pretty has blown up a lot in the West, and Sega's actually putting more focus on getting more of the games over quicker because 0, Kiwami 1, 6, and Kiwami 2 were all really profitable. So, speaking of SNT 5, that game's not going to be out for a minute, sadly. Because all right, so what a lot of people don't know is that they announced the game in 2017 at the Switch, little announcement trailer, or little live conference or whatever. But the full development on the game didn't begin until February of this year, because they didn't even have a team when they announced that game. Like, there's a whole article. I can link it if anybody wants it. But like, I think the director was talking about like how they finally just got a team and they're like fully working on it. And I'm like, well, that's not coming out for about probably another 3 to 4 years, because that was in February of this year. So
realistically, at the very earliest, we're seeing this in 2020, give or take.
Probably. That's probably why we didn't see anything about it. God. Haven't seen anything about it at E3. Like, I mean, we might see some more like footage of it next year, most definitely, but I do not see it realistically coming out next year.
So Atlas is channeling their inner Square Enix, where we're just gonna announce games we're not working on.
They even said they're putting they're putting like 3 times the amount of work in each demon in SNT 5 than they did in Persona 5, and I'm like, man, that game's not coming out for a minute.
I mean, at least it's not quite as bad as Square Enix, where Nomura actually found out he was directing Final Fantasy VII Remake from the trailer.
Yeah, he didn't even know.
That is a dirty move.
Like, how are you sitting in on? Yeah, we have this big upcoming project we're working on, and guess what? You're directing it.
I mean, just put yourself in his shoes. You're sitting there drawing fan art of somebody else's character, adding as many zippers as you can, and then you find out you're directing a whole other game.
Right? Yeah, it's like I imagine somebody like later on saw him with like a black folder with Final Fantasy VII on the front. They just threw it in his lap and ran off.
It's like, here, work on it. Before we get into this, shout out to the chat. We got a bunch of people joining in. My homegirl, Red Infamy. What's going on, Mika? Nice to see you, girl. Timothy McCraw, man. You checking out early for the night. You have a good one, man. Happy New Year. And we got this man, Tundex, coming in saying another one. Also, Danny, Jason is bringing you up on some charges. He's wondering why you're playing Dragon Quest XI right now.
Oh, because I left it running because I ran in here,
and it's a good game.
And I'm nowhere near a save point right now. So
that's that old school. Red Infamy said, "Yo, we back in the '90s, the golden age of gaming." Yo, golden age. Oh, wait, no, Dragon Quest XI has autosave though. Oh, you must be in like. Okay, I know where you are.
You do.
No, I just know you're in a certain place where it's like it auto saves, but not like all the time.
Yeah, and I'm in a point where like it's one of those points where it's like in the story a lot of like how do I say this? I don't want to say tedious because it just like filler stuff happened, and I kind of don't want to sit through that again. Got you.
Yeah. I feel you on that. So I'm still early in the game on that one. I haven't delved too much into it. I'm like 10 hours in, but I got to get back onto that.
Oh, we just encountered Jade, and boy. Best girl.
Well, there you go, man. Shout out to the chat, man. We got a lot of new people here. This man named Chris Critic. He said, I've been rocking with you since the naked dude ran into your lawn when you recorded a video. Long time. Oh, yeah. You an OG if you know that. You an OG if you remember that. That's all I would say.
Man, you got hit up by the greased up naked guy, bro.
I was sitting here recording the video. I looked outside. This man was running down the street buck ass naked, bro.
Oh, no, it's time to move, bro.
Never have I ever. 16-year-old me was scarred. Old ass white man too. Damn.
Oh man.
Oh boy. But yeah. Speaking on Atlas and Sega in general, Sega of Europe, Jamil brought up a great point how it's more of a Western side of things when it comes to pushing these things. And I think it's very telling for a lot of Japanese companies. Sony in particular with PlayStation, I think is like the first major company that's actually run for the most part out of their Western division. Like Sony of America, Sony Interactive Entertainment of America, basically they're the whole reason for the success of the PlayStation 4. Because let's be honest, Sony with the PlayStation 3, they were a very Japanese company. They were doing some very Japanese things that made no sense whatsoever up until, Sony of America came in and we're like, nah, man, $299, PlayStation 3 Slim, Uncharted 2, among grenades to all these fanboys, man. That right there, killer, dynamite. So I'm very happy that they're taking a more of a Western approach in terms of giving us all these games on PC. And that's the best part about it, because the more platforms these games are on, it does better for the series. But you were going to say something, Danny? I'm sorry.
Speaking of games showing up on PC, I'm sure everybody probably knows by now, but Journey recently got a PC release, or is getting one anyway, on the Epic Games Store. Yeah, and it still has like when you check the About section and everything, it still has like the trademark and everything. It says copyright Sony Computer Entertainment, or Interactive Entertainment now. But yeah, it's like they still have the trademark, and they're letting the developer put that on PC, which is interesting.
Journey comes to PC for the first time. Yeah, 3 weeks ago. Nobody ever talked about this.
They announced it at the Game Awards, actually. Well, not on stage, but like in an interview about it.
Yeah, Journey on PC will be distributed by Annapurna Interactive, and it will be on the new Epic Games Store. No release date is known. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. But there is a darker side to the whole Persona thing that I think we were going to talk about later. So.
All right, now we're going to dive into it right now. Go for it, Danny.
Okay, yeah. People are getting like really, really stupid over that trailer. You got people you got fanboys on like every side. You got people who are trying to dunk on Switch owners now because they think it ain't coming there. But like just 2 days ago, they were sitting there whining nonstop about it potentially going over there, and now suddenly they're thrilled about it. You got Switch owners who were sitting there bragging about it and bragging about how they were going to get a version with more features, and it would be the definitive version of your favorite game. Anyway, and then it pops up with the PS4 logo, and then suddenly this Persona 5 who needs it, Joker should be kicked out of Smash. It just really, really, really stupid stuff. Like that, man. Yeah, I don't get that. But like apparently one dude did some translation on the thing and like slipped up and said that it was coming to Switch instead of PS4, and fanboys got so pissed off at him that they actually chased him right off Twitter. Like he legit deleted his account because they were like coming after him so hard. People getting so stupid about, like, first and foremost, so long as this enhanced version comes out on both systems, I'm just going to say it, I'm fine with it. I don't like the idea, especially in the day and age where like something as simple as an update could give you the same content or DLC or whatever. I mean, like back in the PS2 days with like Persona 3, Persona 4, you couldn't really do that. That is something that we have the ability to do now, though. So that there's really no excuse for having like an update exclusive to one platform and only one platform, other than somebody shelled out a good chunk of change for that, which is pretty anti-consumer, but it could happen. But if it's on both, I don't care. But on the flip side, it doesn't affect you if it does go to something else. You can still play the game. You're fine. And on the other end of that too, it doesn't, just because you see like a PlayStation logo pop up in the trailer does not mean that it's not coming to your system. I mean, the CTR trailer, Crash Team Racing, when that came out, had the PS4 logo up in the front. And that thing is coming to the Xbox One and the Switch too. It's a marketing deal. The only thing that says definitively is that there is a PlayStation marketing deal, which would probably make sense because the base game was a PS4 exclusive. So, I mean, I don't see that. Yeah, if anything, that could be the trade-off. You can take it multi-plat. We won't care so long as we get a marketing deal. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with behind the scenes with Atlas there. Atlas is very secretive about whatever deals they do or do not have. But everybody is like freaking out over a trailer that gave us no information and coming at each other's throats and coming at the throats of like people online just trying to do something as simple as translate a trailer that was all in Japanese for an English speaking audience. And they slip up one thing and suddenly everybody's like coming for their neck. It's friggin' ridiculous, man. And it's not just that either, but I mean, when you look around at gaming as a whole anymore, it really seems like people are just so eager to rip into anybody that they think steps out of what they consider to be out of line. Like a developer. I mean, just for example, Insomniac Games won like one Game of the Year award from Wired.com. And there were people coming on there basically telling them, you know, hey, you don't deserve this award. This award should not have gone to you. This should have gone to God of War. This should have gone to Red Dead Redemption 2. Both those games actually had heart and soul put into them, unlike your game.
God.
Your game was more repetitive than the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game. It's trash. Like straight up in their face telling them that their work and their game was garbage just because they won the award over whatever their preferred game of choice was. And we didn't used to see crap like this. You'd see like fighting back and forth between fanboys and like the comments of the article that gave the award out or whatever. But you didn't used to see people actually hitting up these developers to tell them their game was trash comparatively. There's something really bad going on in the gaming scene anymore.
It's become more than tribal. And Danny, you've been around in the game community just as long as I have. Like for some of the newer people here who have just gotten into gaming now and you're not too familiar with the stuff happening then, last generation, which is when the console wars were at its high point, if you will, yeah, there were back and forths with people, but for the most part, dudes were civil about it. It was all still about gaming. You never went into personal attacks on people. I mean, you had the heretics, of course. You had those type of people, but for the most part, people who played Xbox will communicate with people who play PlayStation. They had their differences of platform, but it was still about gaming. Now it's anything but that. And I think that people are using the games to cover up for something that they're lacking. And my homegirl Red Infamy, she brought it up. Like, if you're seriously, let me quote her comment, grown-ass men crying over what platform something is on is lacking in various departments. And that's true. I think that, like, if you look at, let's say, for example, and it should be no shock to anyone, this is not really fanboying whatsoever to make a statement like this. A lot of the people in the Xbox community, not all of them, but a lot, have really championed this behavior of let's start attacking people for their preferences more. And I think that's attributed to the fact that they don't have the games, and the Xbox has been made the laughing stock of the have no games to play. Complain about other people having games to play. Like, of course you're going to complain that God of War won Game of the Year when you don't have anything to play. Like, come on.
Super Lucky's Tale, sir. The
super duper 4K pack.
Are you forgetting the greatest racing game of all time, Forza Horizon 4, which is like the greatest thing ever, and nothing else will ever live up to it
until Forza Horizon 5. I ain't taking anything away from Forza. Forza is actually pretty good.
Oh, no, Forza is about the only game series that they got going on. Well, Forza Horizon anyway. That's really worth anything.
Consistent. Yeah,
it's like consistently good, which is why I said buying Playground Games is actually about the only good acquisition I think they made.
And Obsidian. Those are probably
Obsidian too. Yeah,
those are probably like the only two good acquisitions I say they got, because everything else is a
kind of questionable.
Assuming that they won't pigeonhole them into shelling out like AA rated.
Connectimals part dose and all that stuff.
It's about time to get that third connect out. Well, you're gonna have to inject something in your veins or something.
Look at the water, guys. We can go anywhere. Oh, that was an era. That was an era in gaming, guys.
They're gonna release that Milo game.
Connect 3.0. You got to jack it right into the back of your skull like the Matrix.
Straight up.
Hey. Yo. Yeah, they did buy Ninja Theory. I mean,
Ninja Theory is one of those companies that's like really hit and miss.
Yeah.
Like Enslaved was great. Heavenly Sword was pretty good, but like some of their other stuff was just.
Let's not talk about Rob. Nope, don't say it, Rob. Nope, we're not talking about it.
I don't feel like
Rob's favorite Devil May Cry game. Yeah, that one.
Oh, we're getting derailed. We're gonna run out of time again.
I feel like I want to see. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I was like, yeah, they're probably gonna fund Ninja Theory to make a sequel, not sequel, something called like CMD.
Yeah.
CMD.
What's gonna be available day one on Xbox Game Pass?
Yeah.
What's that gonna be? Clowns might die or something? I don't know.
I don't know. And it's gonna be It's gonna be Vontae and Durgil.
This man said Vontae and Durgil. This man said DMC squared. Oh, go away,
Okay.
Weave Slayer, go away.
I will give him this. Hellblade was a nice comeback though, but
Yeah. No, we're not trying to downplay him. It's just they got a questionable record.
It was just
it's a question of consistency, really, and scale. Like Hellblade was as good as it was because it was more limited in scope and everything. I just don't know what they're gonna do if they try to go back to making bigger games because they're clearly better suited for like smaller entries.
That's a very good point. That is a very good point.
I mean,
yeah, and I mean,
kind of
they made some. Damn. I think Rob will agree with me when I say this. Like, they made some good games. Like, Heavenly Sword was good, but you know when they dropped that God of War, like, let's be real about life.
Heavenly Sword is one of my favorite PS3 games. My jaw was on the floor from beginning to the end. I'll give them credit where it's due, but I mean, it's just how they acted with that game.
Oh, it soured you. Yeah.
It was like, I mean, they became like a mortal enemy for me now. So it's like, I don't know.
Tamim, hey, I will say this much:
I'm still
when he shaved his head, it was a new Tamim. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he started singing a different tune. I just think it's funny because he literally had Dante's haircut from DMC, and then after that game, it like flops and is like a big old black mark on their name. Suddenly, he's shaving his head.
Yeah. You saw that first developer diary about Hellblade. He was sitting there looking like Dhalsim, bro. He just completely reborn, man.
Right. I think I have faith in them. I think that, but here's my problem. Like, of course, Danny is what he said in terms of scale and scope. That could potentially be a problem. But my biggest issue is not that at all. I just think the management of Microsoft and how they've been, like, as we've seen from their track record of purchasing developers. I know a lot of people like to say this is a new Microsoft. They're going to give these developers creative freedom to do whatever they want. But guys, Rare has existed under Microsoft's control for multiple generations. And let's the perfect example. If you guys are telling me that the new initiative from Microsoft in terms of let's let the developers do what they want, yada, 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 and we get something like Sea of Thieves, I'm sorry, but no amount of talent in the world can save that. Yeah. It's more about the management at hand. And you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not just trying to downplay.
I mean, Sea of Thieves, Rare insisted up and down. It was all our idea. It's the game we wanted to make. You know, Microsoft did not force us to do anything. They did not impose deadlines on us. They gave us a very large budget to work with. And it's like, then why y'all put out a game with literally nothing in it?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't buy this, you know, this whole thing where it was always going to be free updates. They did that because of the backlash. Like, make no mistake about it. Microsoft decided to take the L, eat the loss, and put all that stuff out for free that they were going to charge for.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern. Like, I'm excited that, you know, companies like Obsidian now have somebody to call home, but at the same time, come on, y'all. Like, remember, this is not like, honestly, I don't want to be that dude, but Nintendo has done more for some of these struggling developers than Microsoft has. I mean, the fact that they funded both Bayonetta 2, Bayonetta 3, compare those games that we've gotten.
I wish Nintendo fans would just buy the game, but hey.
You know, I guarantee you that new Super Mario Bros. Wii U port thing.
I just really hope that The Outer Worlds is not Obsidian's last really good game. That would. No,
I think Obsidian will make another good game besides Outer Worlds.
I hope so. It's just it's not them I'm worried about, man. It's their boss.
With the games as a service trend going on, I just don't like, especially for a studio like Obsidian, who's all about the single player games. No.
And Microsoft's made it clear that they want everything like tailored to streaming services. They want everything tailored to Game Pass. They want Project X Cloud is literally designed to bring Game Pass to everything they can put it on, including Android stuff, which means, you know, we could potentially see a lot of games scaled back on what they can do just so that they can run on there just fine. Either that, or we're going to see them start to do everything like they do with PS3 games on PS Now, for example, where you're not actually going to be able to get the game. You're going to have to stream the game from like, hardware running out here. And then it's like, then your game's only going to be as good as your internet connection. And I don't, it's just, I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff that's got me worried for the future of some of these companies.
Yeah. I think in theory it's really good, but application, and you got to look at who's doing it. That's the biggest problem more than anything. And
the biggest issue with games as a service is they release like I think Ubisoft, for example, wanted to do games as a service, but they wanted each Assassin's Creed game to be like a games as a service type joint. But they release Assassin's Creed games so quickly that model doesn't work. If you want to do a game as a service, the game in question has to just be on the market for a minute. Like it's got to be an
Overwatch. It's got to be those type of games.
Yeah. Otherwise, that's literally one of the biggest hustles you could do. To have somebody drop another 65 every year and keep it funded for 10 months.
Well, then again, there's the thing, though. I mean, the success that EA has, I think they've been godfathered into this because they've been doing this long before the games as a service. The sports titles come out every year, and people still buy them, and they still spend more money each and every year on those games. So I think
they have a fan base of people that don't really care about that, though. They are more in love with the sport.
Exactly. So for them, it's not going to be the thing.
Exactly. FIFA is like the world's best looking mobile game, bro.
Hey, yo, chill out. No, the best looking mobile game is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Be sure to pick that game up next year.
Oh my God. All I'm saying is if that shit slaps, hey man.
I mean, I would actually great on my phone. I would actually like to see a lot of those hits connecting, not Wolverine cutting the air and seeing the slash, but that's all.
Oh God!
Well, look, my biggest issue is, and I can't believe it's me saying this, I know that the Switch is capable of more than that.
Yup.
And I mean, this is one of those cases where a lot of times I'll say that you get some unrealistic expectations because the Switch can't do that. Switch can do more than what we're seeing there, and especially with the art style and everything. Being homogenous with a lot of Marvel's mobile game titles, I really do think that it might have started development as a mobile game, and Nintendo basically scooped that up and gave them some cash to fund development for the Switch.
I will say this real quick about this game. With how it looks, I'm hoping, just to cut how the visuals look aside, that means more, because I've seen somebody try to use this as a justification. That means more is going to go into a stable online if friends were going to play together.
I honestly, if with this art style, if it doesn't run at 60 frames per second, something's wrong.
Oh, definitely.
If that's the case, I want it to be like the 4 people all joining up in the co-op. I don't care if one's on the train, another one is underground, or the other one at the house, and somebody out in damn space. They should be able to co-op here if that's how it's gonna look.
Well, here's the thing. Blizzard ported Diablo 3 to the Switch, and it runs, I think, at like 900p docked, 720p handheld, but it's 60 frames per second with very, very, very minimal drops. So I think it is possible, like you can make it work.
Oh yeah, definitely. Team Ninja's making it. But is it like the same team that made Neo?
The same team that made Neo is making Neo 2 right now.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're making Neo 2. Never mind then.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
it's just there are things that we got to be kind of just kind of cautionary of. I mean, like that's the whole thing. Like when you find out Platinum Games is making a game, you got to start thinking to yourself, is it the Nier team or is it the Korra team? You know what I'm saying? Like
Nier is that it wasn't just Platinum that worked on that game. It was Square that also helped make that game. That's another reason why it was so good. Like
okay. Yeah, like Team Ninja is currently making Neo 2 and Dead or Alive 6. So yeah, this would probably be their C team.
Oh God! Imagine the team that worked on this one worked on the team that worked on this one worked on Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z.
Oh my God!
Yo,
please.
No. Rest in peace. Bro, I mean, here's the thing: the games that they've put out in the past couple of years, Dissidia, Final Fantasy, Dead or Alive Extreme 3, Neo, Fire Emblem Warriors, Dead or Alive 6, Ultimate Alliance 3, and Neo 2. So if I had to think, Danny's right. The Neo team is working on Neo 2. The Dead or Alive team is working on Dead or Alive. So I'm thinking maybe the people who worked on the Dissidia and the Fire Emblem Warriors team. Yo, I will say this though. If they get the Hyrule Warriors team to work on this, that shit might be lit.
I mean,
hey, did I just hear you advocate that they take a team-based combat game and turn it into a Muso game?
No. What I'm saying is if they take the same level of talent, because here's the thing, I don't like Muso
games now.
No, I don't like Muso games. I don't. But the way that they were able to take the Legend of Zelda franchise and actually make it work and not have it feel
it's cool to see.
And
exactly
more of a level of realism and art into it than they're putting into this game, which
exactly. That's the thing. Like I appreciate Hyrule Warriors on so many more levels than I do something like I don't know, Pirate Warriors or just any of the other Muso games that come out. I ain't gonna say Dragon Quest because Danny, we gonna fight.
Hey, Dragon Quest Heroes is actually a good series, man. It really is.
I had the first game. It's cool for a playthrough. Anyways, so I guess people weren't happy about our it looks like a mobile game comment.
I think it could look better. It could look better.
Let me channel my inner Blizzard here for a moment. Do you guys not have eyes? I mean, I can show you side-by-side comparisons of Marble's mobile games and this. I showed it to Rob. I showed it, I think, to Jamil. You can see similarities.
I've been stupid enough to play most of those mobile games, man. Future Fight, Clash of Champions. I played all that. I know by memory it looks the same.
Yeah, I have a feeling, and the fact that
it just looks better.
I don't think that they really had this game development too long. And I mean, guys, let's just be real. If it's not Marvel's Spider-Man and you're looking at it,
well, I mean that's the thing. Spider-Man kind of gave us the new standard for Marvel games, like
true
for superhero games in general. If they don't look and run like that, then what are you doing?
Hey,
kind of like how Arkham set the standard back in the 7th generation. Like, that's kind of like those are pretty much what we want from superhero games at this point. Like, I mean. Good. Ultimate isn't bad. It's just that it's like when I look at Asylum and City and Spider-Man, it's like, man, why couldn't this game be more like modeled in with that kind of stuff? But
I mean, Ultimate Alliance, I don't expect it to be like open world and
definitely.
No. But like I mean, I expect it to be like take a look at how things have advanced and kind of adapt the formula to that. Like there are current like co-op games out there that you could compare that to that are definitely a step above what we have right now, and I'm hoping they might improve it.
All we're saying is we're not downplaying the game itself because none of us have even seen actual physical.
I'm just telling how I feel about it. I'm saying
I mean, guys, there's just guys. Let's be, can we call a spade a spade? There are standards. And if something doesn't hit those particular standards, you have the right to be questionable about it. Like, come on, it's like any game that comes out, open world game that comes out that's not like up to par with something like The Witcher 3 or some of the stuff Bethesda puts out. It's gonna get questioned. Like, is this so wrong? Like, visuals are visuals, but come on, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, first of all, when I first saw the trailer, Chris, I don't know if you saw the same thing, but I thought it was the most random trailer for like Telltale's Guardians.
No, that's what I thought.
Oh, damn!
I know that's the first thing I thought. The first thing I thought was Telltale Guardians.
I thought they got the Telltale team back to make Guardians, 2 or whatever. I was like, oh,
that's exactly what I thought it was at first. And it's like, there's a whole lot that comes with it because there's a whole lot of variables that's going to go into it. Number one being that you already know after seeing something like Endgame, Avengers Endgame, people are going to want some type of game to get their Marvel fix out, And I don't know how many people still playing Infinite, but
I think us mentioning it is more than people playing it in the past year.
yeah, exactly. So it's like no. So there's always going to be that game because that trick still works, whether it's a movie game or not. If it's close enough, people gonna want to indulge themselves. So that's gonna be one thing right there. And and props to Nintendo for actually snagging that up. So you would have to go that route, to indulge yourself. And also, I mean, they put the 3 behind it. You put the 3 behind it, I have to compare it to the other two. And the other two had this semi-realistic, more art style, and as opposed to this more, they kind more of an action figure type of look. I mean, it's kind of.
It kind of reminds me of the well, like I said, it reminds me of their mobile games, but it also kind of reminds me of like Marvel animation.
Yeah,
more than Marvel Comics.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. That's the best way to put it. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that's been waiting for this game for a long time, and it's just all it is a first impression. Games have how many trailers before they come out? How many trailers Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't have? But
hey, chill.
How many trailers did it have this week alone? I think about 6.
Exactly.
Listen, I will stand for no Kingdom Hearts slander. So we're not having that.
Yeah, I don't think I was getting ready to slander it, but no, but I was saying, it's just first impression, and that's everybody's first impression is kind of jarring. You got some people got to sink in, some people need to see more. I need to see a lot more right now because coming off me, who I was the guy that was goofy enough to play the mobile games, almost all of them for so long, I see parallels right from the Jump Street. So
I mean.
That's just the whole thing.
In defense of the Marvel mobile games, some of them are fun. Strike Force has actually been pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
When I can get it to run. But, I mean, at the same time, that's a mobile game, and you got to judge it by a different standard than, like, a console game.
Exactly. So I'm like, I'll definitely say I'll delete all my mobile games to play when it comes to choosing between that and this Ultimate Alliance 3 because it's going to actually be much better because they're not going to stop me half.
People in the comments like, okay, first things first, y'all. We are not implying at all that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 or 2 are some type of gold standard to hit. Like, no. I tried playing Ultimate. They aged terribly. I tried playing Ultimate Alliance 1 on the PS4. Oh no.
No. I can't go back to that anymore. Remember when we was talking about when we was talking about the whole thing with the Avengers project? We was like, man,
that's a game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not. No, it's not.
Until we see something.
Yeah,
we waited all of 20. They Kingdom Hearts us with that, man. We waited all of 2018. They give us a teaser in 2017. Say news coming 2018. Don't give us unless they drop something tomorrow. They straight lied again.
Yeah.
No, that's pathetic. But
but it's weird because that's being done by the Western branch of Square, and they normally get games out.
Crystal Dynamics, in fact, it's why Eidos Montreal had to do Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is probably why there was that dip in quality.
Oh, Eidos Montreal did that?
Yeah, they took over development on that, I guess.
Oh wow.
Okay. Yeah, so people, we're not coming from an angle of okay. Rob, to quote somebody else, let me just start off by saying I've played all the Ultimate Alliance games. No, we're not coming from that angle at all. We're just you start noticing these things when it comes to certain games, and come on, y'all, like just because someone is making something and it's based off something, that doesn't automatically mean it's going to be good. I mean, anyone who's a fan of Platinum Games, come on now. Come on, like we can all admit that, but
that's like full of relationship right there.
Yeah, you can just look at certain things and you can make assertions based off of it, and sometimes it works out in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. That's just like literally like if it has great gameplay, I'll be satisfied. Exactly. That'll be cool. We'll have fun. Like we're not knocking that. All we're saying is that it does look like a mobile game because all of the mobile games that have come out based off of Marvel Comics look like that. Like that's just all we're saying.
Like man, like I wish I could rip some footage and then just like put it to the side for the one day they do show the gameplay. Because unless they bring that camera in closer, it's gonna look just like it.
Yeah, that's all it is.
But you know, but like we said, I mean, if the gameplay's on point, I'll gladly shut up and just go.
Seriously.
It's just preliminary concerns is all. That's it.
Literally.
I mean, yeah, not everybody looks at the very first trailer. I mean, depending on what the trailer is, you look at the very first trailer, you're either gonna have a over dramatic good positive feedback or over dramatic negative feedback because it's your first time witnessing what this project is. So that's basically it.
That's all it is. So we're gonna move on from that to talk about do we have any more topics before we get into like top games? Okay, so great. We're moving straight into the list. All right, so 2018 overall I'd say it's been a good year for gaming. I don't necessarily think that it was as strong as last year, especially in the first half.
Crazy.
Yeah, last year was insane. I mean, the first half alone, we had games like Persona 5, Nier. We had so many games like Horizon come out. This year, yeah, exactly. Yakuza 0, Tales of Berseria. This year, it was a bit more tame. We didn't have too many bangers outside. I think in the first half, the only major game people talked about for the first 6 months was, I believe, God of War, right?
Monster Hunter World and Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball FighterZ, Monster Hunter World, and God of War was pretty much it.
Dragon Ball FighterZ, don't get me started.
Yeah. So
I'll get into it later. But all right,
cool. Yeah, FighterZ actually won a Game of the Year award this year.
There you go. It made some noise.
It was the fighter.
ESPN gave it Game of the Year.
Real quick, did y'all see? Y'all saw the growing trend at the fighting game tournaments where every time Cell did his intro, the whole arena screamed and stuff.
Yeah,
bro, like
that game's got an impact.
So like. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, so 2018, in terms of, I think, variety as opposed to like last year in gaming on what was like hot and hype, it wasn't the same, but we still had a lot of good games. I think this was a great year for exclusive titles, particularly for the PlayStation 4. Getting God of War and Spider-Man in the same year was like monumental. Like seriously, like insane. And they were not even within. God of War came out April. Spider-Man came out September. So not even 6 months. Crazy.
Everyone's forgetting the Shadow of the Colossus remake in February.
Oh, well, yeah, but sadly,
that's like hyping up. That's like hyping up. I don't know
I like Shadow of the
Wind Waker HD,
but it's niche.
That's not.
Back up a minute. You're what?
Wind Waker HD. What?
Yeah. What?
Yeah, that's like people hyping up Shadow of the Colossus PS4 is like people hyping up Wind Waker HD. Like,
son, I would like. You have no idea what I would give to get that on the Switch. So.
Oh no, facts.
Yeah,
that's gonna be great. Like no doubt. But I'm saying like you ain't gonna look back on this year as like yo.
Yeah, it's just an HD remake. It's not like revolutionary.
Shadow of the Colossus. I mean, that wasn't a remake I was really asking for. I had closure on that. So.
Yeah, that chapter of my life. So when they showed it at the PS4 conference, I was like, oh wait. So someone said you guys sold your souls to AAA. Bro, this is all over Ultimate Alliance. Are you serious right now? Oh my fucking god!
I knew this was a start.
Repeat my indie collection on Switch if you think I sold my soul towards AAA because I'm talking about a damn game that looks like no. I'm sorry. If this is the hill you gonna die on, seriously.
Just the defense like that, it better be a slap.
This game better be game of the year. If this game comes out,
that's the slap now. Like because we can get this much, resistance off of one trailer that wasn't even that long.
We didn't even we said we spent like 10 minutes talking about Microsoft management and Sea of Dog shit, but we say something about Ultimate Alliance and it's just like, oh, this is what we're gonna do.
You spoke against Nintendo.
We criticized the game. Everybody already trying to break out that Infinity Gauntlet.
I could sit here and criticize Breath of the Wild, and people would be like, "Okay, I don't agree, but I understand."
Well, they would not.
Well, you can really.
Yes, no. It's time. Time has passed.
No,
Time has
not enough time.
Time passed
No.
when I did it too. I got reamed on Facebook, bro.
Nah, that was bro. I've had very good conversations with people in the Zelda community.
I remember saying that weapon durability system was trash, and people were like, "Well, you weren't good enough for the game."
No,
I'm
that
like,
shit is trash. I don't care what people say. That shit is trash. I don't care about that. But anyways, yeah. So we are going to go off on some of our favorite games that we've played this year. For me, it's anything on the Nintendo Switch. The Switch didn't have a great year in terms outside of Smash Bros. This year was pretty dry for the Switch.
I just want
Of course, I did.
I want to preface this before he goes any further. Y'all need to shut up about this man hating on stuff on the Switch right now. Then,
Yeah.
like if you needed more proof that he ain't hating on it just because it's on the Switch, there you go.
Y'all don't even want to see this updated Switch collection I got and how many physical indie games I got. But I'm hating. I'm on AAA. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Do you have the Shantae Half Genie Hero Ultimate Edition Special Edition? No, I don't think so.
I have the finest collection of dust you've ever seen.
Look, man,
you got a Wii U?
I want your Switch. Just sell it to me. Like, I will buy it all.
No, I'm waiting for like a legitimate Pokemon game. That's...
No, I wasn't talking about you, Danny. I'm talking about some of these people saying we sold our soul to AAA. Oh,
Oh
hell
my
no.
God. Like
Hell no. I
look
want
at
to see. Let me see your limited run games collection. Ain't AAA
Oh, yeah.
stuff there?
How is Octopath? Because I want to play that.
It's good. It's very overhyped, yeah, but it's good. It's worth playing. It ain't the savior of the genre that people would say, but it's good. Okay, so let's get on to talking about some of our favorite games that we played. I'm gonna start first talking about the Switch because 2018 was very good to me being a Switch owner because I got a lot of games. Granted, a lot of them were ports, but some of these games are games that I had never played before. So talking about some of the stuff that I really loved, Octopath Traveler, for example. Jamil just brought that up. I had a really good time with it. It's very much so a throwback to the old classic games. I consider it Classics HD in a sense because it's got the old style aesthetic, but it's more modern in the sense that it adopts some of the more features of recent RPGs. Thank God. It's got an amazing soundtrack. That alone, I think, even if you aren't interested in the game, you could listen to those tracks and be like, damn. But as it stands in terms of game design, it really doesn't do anything too groundbreaking. As far as like the story perspective from the characters go, it's about what you'd expect. There isn't a grandiose like 8-character like they don't come together in the end like a lot of people were expecting. So it's just separate stories. You just have all these characters in your party. But as it stands, I think that it's something that needed to come out. Granted, it's not as great as we want it to be. Like a lot of people say that this was the Persona 5 for this year. I don't believe that at all. Like Persona 5 made an impact on the industry and it told these Japanese developers that, hey, you can do turn-based and modernize it and have it sell to the masses. You know, I think Octopath did the same thing in a sense, but in a different way. I just wish that the game was better to the point where I wouldn't have to say, you know, like, it's got some give or take. In addition to that, of course, talking about, since we just brought it up, we were talking about Spider-Man. That I feel like we can do a whole podcast on that, which I think, gentlemen, would you be down to having a whole podcast talk about Spider-Man? Because I'm just being real,
God,
the way we're talking.
Do you know who I am?
I will see your Spider-Man offer and raise a whole discussion about superhero games.
Oh,
yo,
that'd be cool too. But like,
definitely. So we're going to save.
That'd actually probably be better, just because if it's just Spider-Man, I'll be off on like all kinds of trails about movies and comics.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep our Spider-Man talk minimal. We can just say some of the things we liked, but we're going to keep it small and cordial, and then we're going to schedule that podcast for sometime in January. We can get that going as like sort of a New Year's treat for everyone that we just planned right now.
I thought you was about to say July, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna do it when they announce the sequel. You know,
Right. Hey,
We are the Square Enix of podcasts.
Yeah.
Hey, does Square Enix release 2 high-profile games within a week of each other? I don't think so. So we got the props.
No, that's more of an EA move, isn't it?
More podcasts to come. Winter 2019.
R.I.P. Titanfall 2. We barely knew you.
Titanfall 3 coming soon. Moving on to some of the other stuff that I played. Like I said, there's so much to list that I'll do my own separate video. I want to give it up to these guys. But as far as the games that I've played this year, oh man, here we go. Going down the list. The Shadow of Colossus remake, Yakuza Kiwami 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, which
I sleep.
Okay, we could do a whole podcast on Red Dead alone as well because there's just so much.
Well, if we do this stuff more often, you know,
we could
chop
exactly
down if we get more consistent.
Right. So God of War. Let's see, what else did I play? Played a shit ton of indie stuff on the Switch. My God, because there's so many games this year, and I'm just like I can't spend all the time talking about them because then you guys won't have time.
Have you played Celeste?
I have it.
Oh, you have Celeste? You haven't played it though?
No, not yet. Like I said, there's like mad.
Let me know how that is. I've been considering checking that out.
Definitely. I'm probably gonna start that probably tonight. Shoot, now that you mention it. I might just come back to the next podcast. There it's good.
I mean, if it got a Game of the Year nomination, there's got to be something to it.
It's got to be good. I mean, yes. Let me know.
Definitely. All right. So next on the list, we got Danny.
Oh, me?
Yeah, talk about some of your favorite video games.
All right. Well, first I'm going to run through some honorable mentions. Assassin's Creed Odyssey was actually a really good game, better than I feared it was going to be. But I still maintain that while it's a good game, it's a terrible Assassin's Creed game. Like, honestly, everything about this game would have been better if they just dropped everything about it that was Assassin's Creed and just done a straight up, story set in ancient Greece with like the actual mythology, not like, it's technology that's actually the mythology. No, nothing like that. Like the actual mythology, something like that. That would have been like that. I think that would have made this game amazing. It would have taken out some of the parts of the game that kind of dragged. There are modern world segments in this game that literally add nothing to it. Nothing at all. Just should not be there. They drag the game down when you get to them and you have to play them. So, like, just if that had been gone, that game would have been just incredible. But even as it stands, it's a good game, and I do recommend people play it. Contrary to popular belief, though, I know a lot of people like to bag on Alexios, especially for his voice actor. I actually thought he was really cool. The voice acting didn't really bother me very much. I thought he was really funny, especially in the scenes where he was supposed to be funny. And, and honestly, although I've seen a lot of people say that in the serious scenes, you can't take him seriously, I didn't really have that problem. I kind of took him fairly seriously just fine. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to tell you who to play as. I'm just saying that if people are trying to pressure you into one or the other, either choice is completely valid. So, beyond that, Red Dead Redemption 2, good game. That's really all I can say about it for right now, because otherwise I will rant for a long time. Good game with some slightly outdated mechanics that they really should have updated. But anyway, next, Spyro, the Spyro Reignited trilogy. They did a very good job of updating that. They did a visually, physics-wise, even a little bit. There's still some stuff, enough of the old games to kind of still be a little frustrating, which is why it's not in my top 5. But I mean, it really is just kind of a translation of like the old games, and honestly, that kind of shows how even today they still hold up pretty well. And I absolutely love that trilogy. And my last honorable mention is Jurassic World Evolution, specifically the PC version, just because I don't think a lot of these simulation type games, like theme park or zoo management games, it's kind of a hybrid of both, really. They don't really do too well on consoles. The interface doesn't transfer as well. But Jurassic World Evolution, it had a bit of a rocky launch. They definitely improved it over time. But they kind of brought back and breathed some life into a genre that was, for the most part, kind of dead, except for a few indie titles that would pop up here and there. So I'm hoping that this might mean that we get some of the bigger entries, come back, especially after Microsoft kind of teased us with the return of Zoo Tycoon, only for it to be, what was that, a Kinect title?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, top 5 games. Yakuza Kiwami 2 is number 5.
Oof.
Just beautiful revival of a good game. One of the better stories in the series. And just the performances, everything else, just amazing. The new engine makes the just wow, makes a world of difference, and it is just a great game. And I really think more people owe it to themselves to pick that game and pick it up, play it, love it. There you go. Number 4, Dragon Ball FighterZ. That might surprise some people that it's not higher on the list, but in the end, it is a fighting game. I kind of only play those casually, so that a fighting game made my top 5. Period. It's kind of a big deal. But I love the fact that it's extremely accessible. If you've never played a fighting game before, you can still pick this up and play it, and play it well. As you get better with it though, and you learn the more advanced combos and get more technical, you're definitely rewarded for that. But it's also not a case of I'm going to hop in this game, pick it up, play it, and I'm just going to get myself completely clowned by somebody online. You do have a good chance of being matched up with someone who's about at your skill level. The auto combo system also makes it so that, again, you're not going to get completely embarrassed, provided you're not completely stupid. And the story mode, I know a lot of people give that a lot of flack, but I actually liked it simply because, the whole "you're the protagonist" thing, I'll admit, was a little corny, but overall, I think it was utilized pretty well. I think the idea of you going through the story 3 times from 3 different perspectives to kind of try to piece what really happened here and what was really going on together was actually kind of unique and interesting. And I think a lot of people missed that too. I think they thought that it was all supposed to be like one straight storyline, and it's not. The different arcs kind of give you different pieces of what's happened, and as you go on, you get more of like the real story, as it were. The basically what I'm saying is that the android arc is kind of like the quote unquote true end, but and it also gives you more of the backstory, but the other 2 kind of inform you about what's going on in the world and so on and so forth. And the villain saga is really just an excuse to see the villains interact, and that's amazing. But I also liked it because Goku, for the first time, is not actually really the protagonist. He's a central figure, but like in terms of not even you as the protagonist. I mean, the game focused more on Android 21, Android 18, even Krillin, and Android 16. Really, are like the 4 characters that it spends the most time with. And I thought that was really interesting and kind of gutsy for them to do. And it translated into, honestly, what is a really great story by fighting game standards, in my opinion. Next is Dragon Quest XI. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. It's just a really freaking good RPG. The characters are all lovable. Story's tropey, but a lot of JRPG stories are tropey. I find that the best ones are always the ones that are character-driven more than anything. Just because when you getting attached to these characters and everything, even if they have like a really tropey death, it still impacts you. You still care about it. You still feel it. So, which is one of the reasons I definitely prefer 9 over 7 in Final Fantasy. But anyway, number 2 is God of War. That is like one of the best comeback stories of a video game that I have ever seen. That is one of the best cases of like updating a franchise I have seen. It is one of the best cases of redeeming a character that people thought was irredeemable that I've seen. And the father-son dynamic between Kratos and Atreus is something that I don't really see a whole lot in video games. It's interesting in that it's not like the traditional masculine, father and son, now you're a man story, but it is still a very masculine, father, son, now you're a man story, but it's done in a way that not to borrow certain terms or anything, but just does it in a way that's really non-conventional and a lot more, real and a lot less,
cliche,
something cliche. Yeah. I really liked what they did with it, and the fact that there was actually a lot of focus on the mother, and that she was actually one of the main characters, even though she never appears. And just the way those 2 talked about her, and she just sounded like such an amazing woman, and you really wish that you could have gotten to know her in the game. And just, I mean, Kratos, there are only 2 women that have ever had Kratos in his feelings like that. That should tell you all you need to know. And my number 1 game, my game of the year, is Spider-Man. And that is just that is like almost everything I have ever wanted in a Spider-Man game. The story in that game was incredible. The characterization of Peter Parker was spot on. His relationships were amazing. They actually took Miles Morales and made him an interesting character as opposed to what he had been under the Bendis era of comics. And it actually made me care about him as a character. It made me want to get to know him more as a character. And just the way that Peter was like competent and you know, they didn't have to make him an idiot or completely yank the rug out from under him in every single way, shape, and form in order to get across that, you know, he has to make the hard decisions and he has like a tougher, you know, life. It's not idyllic. If you compare that to like what Dan Slott has done for the last 10 years in the comics before he finally left, you will see a stark contrast. And that's something that's also more in line with what Nick Spencer's doing in the comics now. And it's really amazing. And I am a very, very happy fan.
Awesome. So moving into Rob, some of your favorite games this year, bro.
Yeah, so top 5. The only real honorable mention I really have is Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, it's a good game, but there's a lot of games I had a lot more how can I put this? A much bigger experience with. I mean, I kind of know what to go in with a Rockstar game. There is kind of a formula that they do add to each game. So I kind of knew what to go in. So I knew what I was getting to an extent. So, so I have to put Red Dead Redemption 2 as my honorable mention. Number 5, for me personally, if you know me, you know I'm a big fighting game player. So number 5 has to be Soul Calibur 6. Man, after the heartbreak of Soul Calibur 5 and me thinking that the series was done, 6 just came back with a fury. The gameplay in and of itself is fun. You know, it has a little bit of that speed back. I was hoping it would get back because a lot more of like of a Soul Calibur 2, because Soul Calibur 2 had a lot more speed to it and very quick response. And it started getting to a point between Soul Calibur 3, 4, and 5. They tried to add this little bit of a fencing element to it. I get why, because it's weapons. So I get why to take it in that route. But 6 just seems like it's the best of both worlds. I love the addition of the clash moves and how that creates openness in a very dynamic way, because there's been many moments where we come in on the slow-mo and I would have bated breath seeing who would get the connection here. So and plus, I mean, he had the boy Geralt in the game. Like,
yeah, buddy. Let me not go on my Witcher tirade for a second.
And the beauty of it is that it could very well be canon to his games. I mean, the whole thing.
Oh, there we go.
With the whole thing with Siri or him hating portals, he could just flat out say, "Oh, I ended up in the Soul Calibur world. This is why I hate portals," and crap like that. It's funny, and he actually has some type of role. He's not just a guest character, just there and quiet. You actually do encounter him, so it's kind of cool. But yeah, so Soul Calibur 6, that's my number 5. My number 4 is Detroit. Detroit Become Human. Man, I remember I got this game it was just a chill weekend. I figured I'd just go through another, Heavy Rain Beyond type game. But man, I actually ended up just falling in love with the world of Detroit. And I'm not gonna say too much because I know Chris, you gonna start it, but
yeah.
I would just say this creates a really amazing world, and it's almost everything I kind of hoped Telltale would eventually become. When it comes to more, the story is big. It spreads out a lot. And this is not so much of a spoil. This is, if you play the demo, you see they actually give you like a tree, an event tree at the end of every chapter. You can see like, man, what didn't I do? Oh man, I could have done this or something like that. They don't spoil it. It'd be like in question marks, but you start thinking like, man, what could I have done different to change this thing? And it can go so many. I played through it so many times that things go different ways. So it's very fleshed out. It definitely kind of put me in my feels with certain things, and man, it's a strong it's strong from its story standpoint. And I know its story is basically its whole selling point, but this could have been a movie, a show, anything, and it would have had me interested because the world is cool, and I actually hope like there is some type of continuation. I don't want them to just throw this in the garbage and then just make another whole nother. I actually want them to revisit this. So yeah, Detroit is my number 4. Uh, number 3 is Dragon Ball Fighters. Man, I was so excited about this game. So excited. I mean, number one, just being a Dragon Ball fan, but also, as a fighting game fan, it was like the game I've been waiting for. It 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 kind of, and I think a lot of people that play it can also say it's definitely felt like the Marvel versus Capcom we deserved that we didn't quite get. It definitely felt like MVC 2, and specifically Marvel vs. Capcom 2, because that's the one I remember playing the most. And man, just you could almost literally just trade off anything from Marvel and Capcom characters and just put your Dragon Ball characters in there, and it becomes it. The gameplay isn't too complicated, but when you start adding your own flavor to it, you can add some things to mix it all up. Uh, I had some fun, absolutely fun battles online. I actually enjoy fighting other people a lot more than fighting the computer, because the computer kind of be on bull sometimes. But I had a lot more fun fighting other people. I remember I was uploading so many matches on my and that's another handy thing, just to be able to upload straight matches and shoot them out on YouTube instantly. Like, I put up so many matches, and then as I kind of got better, I was actually kind of feeling proud of myself. Like, one of my most proudest moments from the videos I put up is when I was down. I was down on my last character, and then I was going against a guy. He had 2 full characters, and I ended up coming back. And I remember I was like so happy at that moment. I didn't even have my mic in, but I like almost fucking screamed. I was so happy I ended up winning that, because I thought I was just about to lose because that dude was getting on my nerves. But and I remember I named the video. I said Gohan is invited to the barbecue because he ended up saving me.
He has a permanent invite to the cookout.
I'm like, man, Gohan's invited to the barbecue fight. He just saved me right now. But I'm like, the game is genuinely fun. Very nice choice of characters. It doesn't feel so I don't want to say flat, but like, it's not like a very routine fighting game, because there's always something you can find. It's like, even after you beat the story mode, you might want to start pairing characters together to see who got interaction dialogue with who when you beat the game. You might want to be curious, because that can also be kind of funny to see who said something about what, and they kind of got a lot of the variables. Like, you can team up like Goku Black and Beerus, and Black probably has some type of dialogue about Beerus working with him. So it's funny from if you want to see more of the characters. And then with the DLC, just got crazy, added a lot more people. I love that game. That's the best way I can put it. I love that game to death, man. I remember, and then real quick before I move on, I was just gonna tell this story real quick. I was so excited for that game. I remember I started at the job I was at that time. That Monday, I told them I need Friday off. I took Friday off that day with when FighterZ came, because it came out on a Friday. That meant whole weekend I was playing, bro. It was legit. Yes.
There were actually like legit a lot of people staying home that night. I remember people said that there were like bars and everything that were usually full on Friday night that were empty that night.
Yeah. Bro, like somebody, the one chick on Twitter was talking about like, I guess she works at a strip club, or she might even been a stripper, but she was saying the club was completely empty the night before. And I remember just being sarcastic. When I saw it popped up, I replied. I was like, yeah, well, 2 of the biggest games of the year just came out yesterday. And that was FighterZ and Monster Hunter Worlds. I just thought that was funny. Had just time. I'm like, that literally might be the reason, because those 2 games came out that day. But so yeah, FighterZ definitely my number 3. I'm gonna speed this up for the rest. Number 2, Spider-Man, great game. I was like in complete thirst for another superhero game. I mean,
Fuck.
he died. Oh man. But yeah, I was in complete thirst for another superhero game. And Spider-Man, man, Spider-Man kind of gave me everything. It gave me everything I needed, not just as a superhero game, but for a Spider-Man game. I felt the same way playing that as I remember my eyes being open the first time I played Arkham Asylum. You know? And it's like it literally feels like, it pushed the bar up. Ironically, it gave me the same vibe as Arkham Asylum, with the same feeling when I finished it. And both games ended up in their times pushing that bar even higher. Now, I knew this game was going to be great when it got to the point where I think it was the Paris Games Week trailer. I watched that trailer so many times, but when it just opens up and it's just Peter Parker talking with Mary Jane and Aunt May and all that, you almost forget that it's a Spider-Man game. Like it almost looks like it could be like, just some new type of Insomniac game. And then you like, oh wait, this is Spider-Man. They put that much love in the Spider-Man. So yeah, between that, all the suit options, the funnest thing, September was lit. The whole month of September was on point because everybody was using photo mode.
Oh yeah.
Uploading.
Photo mode was amazing.
Uploaded all over Twitter. That was some of the funnest things ever because I remember one of the first things I did when I was trying to get like real bold with the photo mode, and I remember I jumped right in front of Shaka right before he blasted me just to get that selfie, bro. And I remember when I had uploaded it, I used that Simpsons meme with Ralph. You like, I'm in danger. Yeah, so yeah, between the game was just genuine fun, and that was like a really fun month. Not just playing it, but also watching other people, seeing people what suits they were using, and man, that was an experience, right?
And the best part about the photo mode too is that they actually they're still adding to it.
Yeah, so it's like, man, it's like, and it really makes me wonder. I'm like, okay, so I wonder what's the cutoff point, and I'm like, man, what's gonna be in the sequel? Like, how did they increase all that stuff? But it's like, man, this is a great game, and it's one of those games where it gives me that same vibe. Like whenever I got any free roam Spider-Man game, I would just routinely play it just to patrol the city and just beat people up and stuff. Like I can keep playing this for a while, long until the next one comes out. So great game, man. So Spider-Man's number 2, and number 1, I got to give it to God of War. God of War.
I won't say nothing mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But seriously though, God of War, this was a very ballsy game, very ballsy, very risky game. To be able to jump genres like it did, because I remember everybody was expecting this to be like completely new, even though they saw the model. Remember when the model leaked and people didn't know what to take from it? A lot of people was thinking it was a new character. Doesn't make sense if it was Kratos. It doesn't make sense to be a sequel and all that. But then you remember, like back when Jaffe, even though I hate him now, was saying that he would like to see Kratos in different mythologies and stuff like that. It was so much, like wondering, like, how does this all work? And honestly, there's so many avenues I could talk about how this worked. But I think the biggest one I could just say is, it felt like, in a way, the series that was already rated M for mature matured. It's like I remember when the first God of War came out, I was in middle school. When God of War 2 came out, I was in high school. When three came out, it was right before I was gonna start college. And now it's like as a complete adult, when this one came out, it felt different. It felt as different as if most people that was alive when the first one came out it felt like it aged as much as you have, you know. And I always thought that was so cool. I mean, yeah, I know it was a lot of crap it cost, you know, changing the camera angle and all that, being over the shoulder. But you know, the combat was still there. I mean, there's still combo videos all over YouTube. It got me to the point, it got me, you know, streaming together some pretty sick combos, launching people up to maybe 2 strikes and throwing the axe at them. Like, you can find combos, man. So it still had it. It so it's man, it was a very ballsy game, and then it's so much more stuff I can go in about with just them jumping genres, the character Kratos adding so much depth to him, but also still remembering who he is and what he did. And I almost kind of felt like, you know, that back in the day I was this crazy bloodthirsty monster type of thing, and it's like they respect that how he was, and he's not like that anymore. And the way you should feel that, because you got older as well, you matured as well also. And then the whole thing with the boy, I knew they did their job with the boy when it got to a certain point in the game where I stopped looking at him as just somebody that followed me. But when he did something in particular in the cutscene, I was actually like feeling proud. I was like, wow, they actually managed to pull me into watching this kid improve. I was like, wow, you actually made me kind of feel like a father for a minute. So that was pretty deep right there. So yeah, it's like I love the combat. It was kind of jarring at first, but I ended up making it work, getting some crazy stuff out of it. The exploration was kind of addictive. It's not the biggest map in the world, but and you feel like flexing on monsters. You just start walking through, fighting anything, you know. That's it's always a fun thing. And also, it's like, man, that game held probably one of the absolute greatest cutscenes for a game I will ever see in my life. And I wish I could say it, but Chris refuses to beat the game.
Hey, I'm taking my damn time. I'm playing it at a very slow pace, and I'll get back to y'all in like 2019. We out there finishing games from last year.
I wish I could talk about it, but because of him, I can't.
That's damn straight.
Oh man, but it's like if anybody that's played the game, if you even watched the game, I think you already know the scene I'm talking about, because if you follow me on Twitter, I almost lost my voice because of that. but yeah,
Lost his voice. God damn.
Yeah, man, it was real, man. Man, I wish you gotta finish that game.
I will. You know, I'll put it into my PS4 before I go to bed.
Oh my God, bro. So, but overall, oh yeah, and this is probably what I'll end it off on. That whole thing they did with the camera never leaving Kratos and Atreus, that was yeah, because the whole thing, it's almost like
the single camera angle.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was completely unheard of, man.
That is why I was gonna lose. I was gonna lose it if it didn't get like a best direction award.
Yeah, that right there justified best direction. The one shot thing where the camera never left that adds so many avenues, because it doesn't cut away to show what the antagonist to do. Everything that happens, you're just like, you're reacting to it. So it's like there was never a moment where, you know, they did something and then it cuts away to show
it made it more of an experience and a journey rather than like a movie sort of.
Exactly, you know, that right there was probably one between that and how satisfying it is to throw the axe and call it back. That was just man, they need to do that for the shield. Yeah.
Man, I sometimes just whip that axe and go in with the shield.
Just go in with the shield, bro.
Captain America, the thing.
I'm telling you, God of America. But yeah, so yeah, just to wrap it up, those are my top 5 because I have very distinct memories tied to each one, and it made those games for me genuinely made the year, or that part of the year, more enjoyable. So that's about it.
Nice. Jamil?
Let me remember. Okay, so
We all know his
number.
favorite game was God of War.
No, his favorite game of the year was Nier Automata for Xbox. That's what it was.
Yeah, don't ever slander me like that again.
This man bought an Xbox, just play the game.
Exactly.
I can't believe they faked the HDR in that game.
Don't ever slander me like that again. Honestly, I didn't beat that many games released this year. In fact, I did a lot of this year just beating games from last year. So,
Same.
Like, but my game of the year though, Spider-Man, easily. That's I don't have to speak on anything that hasn't been said. So that's number one. So number two at that point would probably be. No, Dragon Ball FighterZ would be number three for me. So number two would probably be what is it? I've been playing
Bayonetta 2 for the Switch.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, Horizon.
That came out like last year. But...
Yeah,
but he came out in 2017.
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn. That would definitely be like number two because like the movie.
So you're more about like games you enjoyed in 2018 than rather than games.
I don't think I even beat 5 games that came out this year. I mean, I did beat 5 games that came out this year.
All right.
That's fair enough. Okay, so you have that's cool. So you have Spider-Man, Horizon, Dragon Ball FighterZ.
What else did I beat? Hold up. Oh, look at this little tab here. Oh no, that came out in 2016, not 2017.
What game?
Uncharted 4.
Oh, you just beat Uncharted 4?
On Crushing, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Wait, for the first time, like ever, or just in general?
Sir.
He almost pulled his hair out before he got cut.
I would not recommend someone play Uncharted 4 on Crushing for the first time because that will ruin your enjoyment of the game. Oh my god!
Like
I got exploding mummies.
I got all the treasure. I got all the optional conversations, all the journal notes. Got on Crushing first playthrough. Like,
oh god. Stronger soul than I. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just gonna say it. You know, playing Uncharted 4 for the first time on Crushing is like almost as dumb as playing The Last of Us Remastered for the first time on Grounded.
Are you making a comparison?
No, I'm just saying I can't imagine anyone who would have been dumb enough to do that.
I mean, Daddy, you an asshole.
You got develop the instinct. Then fine tune it.
And I guess it could be worse. You could have been blaming the game the entire time, every time you died. So.
And I guess I'll
restart the game.
I guess I put at number 5. I guess God of War. I'll put at number 5.
Wait, Jamil, you told me you did not play any of the Yakuza games this year?
No, I did. I didn't play Kiwami too. Wait, no, I did. I did play Yakuza games. Oh yeah, get that out of there.
Wait, did you beat Yakuza 0 this year? Because if you beat that, that's an automatic top 5.
I'm at the end of Yakuza 0. I haven't beat it yet.
Oh damn.
Oh
damn, bro, you got to do that. That last act is legendary. Okay, all right. Well, ladies and gentle germs, that is where we are going to wrap up the final podcast for 2018. I don't think we'll have a part 3 out unless y'all are just like, hey, let's do this again tomorrow. Something crazy.
I don't know about all that. Hey,
yeah, it's the New Year festivities. You know what I'm saying? We got.
I'm down whenever.
Hey, yeah. Real quick, we can go ahead and shoot this out real quick. Anticipated games, go.
Anticipated games. Okay, so let's just the first month of 2019, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Kingdom Hearts 3, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. What else we got coming out? Devil May Cry 5, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Well, Activision, so no.
But FromSoft, so.
But Activision and Platinum Games.
Never get excited for any Activision game until you see to what degree Activision will screw it up because of the way.
Exactly. So he's being realistic. What else is coming out next year? all the Yakuza masters localized, whatever this Persona announcement is. Anything coming out on the Switch, I can't wait for that.
Cool.
Coming out next year.
I'm actually kind of excited for Days Gone. I'd like to finally get my hands on that.
Yeah,
And
Days Gone to sleep.
See how the horde mechanics actually work.
I think that could be interesting. What else? There's like I said, 2019 is going to be insane. I think it's going to be the new 2017.
I will say my most anticipated game, even though it's not like confirmed for 2019, probably isn't going to be out in 2019, is Ghost of Tsushima though.
Yeah, it's definitely 2020.
Oh yeah, Daemon X Machina. There's also that Fire Emblem game that's coming out.
Apparently, there's gameplay for Daemon X Machina. I had no idea.
Yeah. I
was just watching people in the comments, and they're just like, "Yeah, there's gameplay from Gamescom." I'm like, "There is."
Speaking of, there's that Fire Emblem game comes out in like March, doesn't it?
Yeah, and
do we have?
There's like no promotion. We have.
That's got me kind of concerned.
There was another 2019 game from Nintendo.
Animal Crossing. Well, here's the thing: the only confirmed 2019 games we have from Nintendo are like Animal Crossing, Yoshi. Like they didn't even confirm whether or not Metroid or what's that other game? We don't even know if Metroid's coming out next year. It should, but we don't know.
We got the mainline Pokemon games coming out next year.
We got that too. Basically everything you thought was going to come out in 2019 for Nintendo, which Danny, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't people say that only Sony announces games 2 years in advance?
Oh yeah, Sony is the only company that will ever announce a game and then not release it until years later, because Crackdown 5 didn't happen and Breath of the
Fire Emblem didn't happen, and Metroid didn't happen, and all these games.
Shin Megami Tensei 5 didn't happen.
Bayonetta 3. Although I get a feeling that might release 2019. The only issue with that is if knowing Platinum, every time they released a Bayonetta game, it was always next to like a major game. Like I think Bayonetta 2 released a week after Smash Bros. For Wii U, and I think
no, it didn't.
What's the biggest game out next year?
The biggest game out next year. Like, what do you mean for the fall?
For any.
Wait, is Cyberpunk confirmed for 2019?
No.
People guessing, man.
No, in fact,
I was about to say.
They actually outright said that it might turn into a cross-gen title. So.
Yeah, they said it was like 3 years out or 2 years out or something like that.
I can see that. I can see 2020. I can see 2020 just for marketing purposes.
I could see 2021, honestly.
Oh shit.
Man, and they need go let them
PS5 launch
77, bro.
And one thing that we know is accurate: it'll still be out before the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, you guys heard that The Last of Us 2 supposedly had a release date for March 31st of next year.
No way.
No,
unless they stealth drop that release date.
Some Indian like online company or store or something like that had it listed for that, and it's like
no, earliest is June. They no.
I mean that's the end of like Q1 2019. That's just a placeholder.
So. Yeah,
of course.
I mean,
but there are people who wholeheartedly believe it, and so now you got people saying that it's coming, other people saying it's going to be a rush job, etc.
No,
I mean, I'll put it like this: I highly doubt either Last of Us 2 or Ghost of Tsushima. I doubt both of them are going to come out. It's going to be one or the other.
I think that Days Gone is going to be their game for the first half, and then if I want to be real, I think September, maybe Last of Us. I don't know, because they have a habit of releasing a big game in the beginning of the year and then a big game in fall. The beginning of 2017, that was Horizon.
Well, that'd be Days Gone then.
Yeah, Days Gone, and then the second half, it's got to be what other game is that far along in development outside of The Last of Us? Ghost of Tsushima. I don't believe that. I mean, the way they've been marketing it, it's still pretty early,
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't expect that anytime too soon. But like honestly, what I've seen of it. And just knowing that what we saw in that gameplay was just a side mission.
Sucker punch on point.
Story. Oh, God. I mean, I am freaking hype as hell for that game. It looks amazing. It looks like it plays amazing. The combat is like actual sword play and not this anime style hack and slash stuff.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to get my hands on that.
Oh, I just forgot. I just forgot.
Hmm?
What's that game called? Death Stranding.
Oh,
Right,
Death
okay,
Stranding.
more like sleep stranding, but that's another one.
Hey man,
He just needs to show some stuff. Honestly, that's what he needs to do.
But that's the problem. He's showing stuff and we don't know what this game is.
No, I mean like actual
he
stuff.
won't
Like,
tell anybody what the game is. Bro.
you
That's
can't sell video games are not movies. You can't sell them, especially since people maybe go see a movie. Like a movie ticket that's like what, $12, $13, sometimes less if you're in a smaller town, whatever. People who are curious will pay that much to go see a movie. People are not going to pay that much to lay it down to play a game that they know next to nothing about.
Yeah,
This man is taking way too much of a movie maker perspective with this game.
This man Kojima created a lore that he's in love with, but don't nobody know about.
Exactly.
He created a personal lore that nobody else know about.
You forgot Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I was ready to get into that.
I tried to block that trailer out of my mind. Sorry.
Well, I'm probably the resident fighting game player in this group. I'm ready for it, man.
I mean, I am to a degree, but I'm renting it first because if that story is trash, I'm not paying for it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What, man? I'm getting that game to throw hands and customize my mains, bro. That's it. That's it. Customization, man. My main's about to be dipped out, bro.
I just hope my mains are actually in the game this time. I don't know.
Wait. No. Bayonetta 2 came out before Smash Bros.
No, I just looked it up.
Are you serious?
I'm looking at it right now.
No. Smash Bros on the Wii U came out in December, right?
No, Smash Bros. And Wii U came out September 13th, 2014.
It did?
Came out September 20th, 2014.
No. September, you said? That was the 3DS version.
Wait, no, I'm looking. Wait. No, wait. I'm looking at it. It says Smash Wii U right here on the thing.
Remember, they're all under one. They're under the same game.
No way. Let me see.
Yeah, bro.
When does the Vesperia remaster drop?
January 11th.
Oh God.
Yeah, bro. See, look, the 3DS version was released in Japan in September. The Wii U version was released in November.
Oh God.
Damn, bro. You almost caused a roasting session today. Yeah. Dang, it's all right, people. Jamil, he'll apologize for his sins on the next podcast.
Wait a minute, is Vesperia a full price game?
No, it's 50.
Oh, I still might miss it. Crap.
Yeah, that's why I'm skipping Resident Evil 2 Remake to get that shit, bro. Because I don't play with that Tales of Vesperia.
I'm gonna have to see if I can do some gameplay magic for that one.
So hopefully, man. All right, so
we could just end it like this. So if you had to put one gun to your head, most anticipated, rapid fire, go for each person.
Okay, most anticipated games for next year, in no particular order: Kingdom Hearts 3, Devil May Cry 5.
You said one.
Oh, one? Fuck, man. Okay, if we have to pick one game, Devil May Cry 5.
Same here. Same.
Kingdom Hearts 3, leave me alone.
Yeah, you good, fan. You good. Danny?
I'm sticking with Days Gone. I need to see what they do with that concept.
Yeah.
Cool.
And,
what's up?
Yeah,
what?
Nah, that's it. I'm with Devil May Cry 5 as well. So
all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to wrap this up once and for all. Thank you guys so much for joining us on not one, but 2 year-end of specials. Man, it's so good to have the guys here together because we got such good synergy. And part of me thinks when I do go to bed at night, maybe we should actually try to make this a somewhat regular thing and not once a year. I don't know about y'all. That thought has crossed my mind more than once.
Man, I mean,
I'm down whenever. Almost whenever. Yeah, I have hours.
Okay, so if anything, let's try to shoot for. Okay, I'm not gonna hold anything to anyone, but let's shoot for one podcast a month. I think that is doable. I think so.
Should be.
Yeah, if we all put our heads together and we get if we get semi not too serious like it's a job or something like that, but like we get kind of serious on the consistency, man, we can knock this out. Therefore, we wouldn't have such a crazy backlog at the end of the year.
Exactly, where we got to do like 2 podcasts, 6 hours long.
Exactly. Yeah. Honestly, I think we could do once a month.
Yeah, I'm just being realistic because if we tried to do once a week, something would come up one week. But if we can do like once a month, I feel.
Comments are going off right now. Once a month sounds
Oh,
good. 5 a month, once every 2 weeks.
Someone said 5 every week. A daily podcast.
That'd be something.
Oh man, well, maybe one day we get to that point, man. Who knows?
Pretty short.
Like we do 30-minute podcasts 5 days a week.
Man, we had nothing to talk about. Like, what y'all do today? Play this.
What do y'all do?
What y'all do? Oh man, I'm still playing this.
Yo, imagine that happened like the day a really long game dropped, and it's like, so what'd you do today? Oh, I played this. Next day, what'd you do today? Well, I'm still playing this. It's like, motherfucker, really?
Right, like, man, you ain't beat it yet. It's been one day.
Literally, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can't promise you when we'll be back. I'm feeling like we should keep this momentum going. Maybe next Sunday. Who knows? I mean, the way my schedule is looking, I think Sundays might be the wave. Possibly. I don't know about y'all.
I think
that's doable.
Any time before KS3 and RE2 comes out.
Okay, yeah. So we're definitely okay. So if anything, we'll probably do like 3 weeks in January, and then we'll take a 2-week break, and then we'll come back in February once we've beaten those games.
Exactly, because
your machine broke around Resident Evil and Kingdom Hearts 3.
I got 3 games I got beaten at 4 now that I just remembered.
Hey, imagine, because I believe, Resident Evil and Kingdom Hearts come out the same. You know the tone, the whiplash you get from the tone shift for trying to play both of those games.
Oh my god, what comes out first? Resident Evil, right?
No, I think it's the same.
Kingdom Hearts is like 2 days earlier.
Somebody look that up real quick. I know they're really close to each other. I thought somebody told me it was the same day, but I wasn't sure.
Hang on, I'm gonna look in my Amazon order.
Yeah, same. I know Kingdom Hearts is, I think, January 29th for the international release. I think in Japan it's on the 25th.
Okay, yeah, 25th for Resident Evil.
Okay.
And Kingdom Hearts is the 29th.
Nice. Okay, so
cool. So there's a gap. Okay.
So I might be able to finish Resident Evil before that comes out. But then I also got to get
January is insane.
I got Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel Disciple.
Oh my god. I'm pissed off at the month of January.
And Trails of Cold Steel 2 comes out in March. So enjoy that whole 2 months you get to complete that game.
Next year isn't even here, and I'm just so frustrated.
And then 3 months after that, we got CTR coming out. We got April's got Days Gone. We got
oh my god, Crash Team Racing. We all getting that on PS4. We about to squad up.
We're gonna have to stream that on your channel, right?
Yes, I can't wait.
People are gonna demand that we all have a 4-way race there.
Yeah. I could definitely see that happening.
Resident Evil 2 and KS3 come out the same day in Japan.
Yeah, they do.
Then that must have been the trailer I saw.
Yeah, in Japan they come out the same day. Kingdom Hearts 3 International comes out 4 days later.
Whoa! Hi, I'm getting a refund of $211 on Resident Evil. That's nice. Thank you, Amazon.
Did it cancel your special edition or something?
No, I canceled my special edition and I ordered the regular because the extra $20 I could use and there wasn't anything to really warrant that price. But
True.
Apparently the price has gone down since I put my pre-order in, and they owe me $211 for it.
Hey, there you go.
When Crash come out? Crash
June.
Oh, y'all ready to get Dustin on the CTR? Oh, we've got that.
Yeah, we do. We might do a community. If they have private matches, we might do an NXP community game night or something. I think that'd be pretty dope.
Hey, we also might have to even before the end when we get that co-op on that Devil May Cry going.
Definitely. We get that rotation popping.
Right.
Yo, 2019.
Destroy
Man.
everything, bro. Like,
And to end off, yes, Matt C. January is the month for games that were supposed to come out in the fall, but they're like, no, let's not. Basically, just stay out of the way of Red Dead.
One more thing, guys.
Yeah.
March, Rob, not Metal Gear Solid drops March 25th or March 5th.
oh,
Left Alive?
okay.
Left Alive.
I heard that was
Yeah,
really?
There's so much Metal Gear Solid DNA in that game. It may as well be the spiritual.
Wait, do they even have gameplay of that?
Yes, they do. They have gameplay. They have a trailer. The trailer is straight up Metal Gear Solid, man.
Wait, who's making this besides who's making this?
Square, or are they publishing?
It's Square is publishing it, but I don't know who's developing it. Let me look that up real quick.
Because I know they got the artist, but
Yep, Square's developing it too.
Does it say which division?
Just says developer Square Enix.
Oh shit.
So I'm guessing Square Japan then. But
I'm about to go look this up then. All right, y'all. It's been real. You guys have yourself a happy and safe new year, and we will see you guys in 2019.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, folks.
Yeah, y'all. Peace.